We are here at the Alamo Dome in the beautiful city of San Antonio, Texas, as we celebrate and come together with 30 years of La Mafia celebration.
It was just all natural. There was, I guess that's one of the things that made us different, was because we were just being ourselves.
We published it in a scientific journal, and we showed for the first time that children as young as 8 years of age were developing this adult disease, type 2 diabetes.
Give the community an opportunity to speak up, because our leaders weren't. Our leaders were hiding. They ran for cover.
One of the reasons I wanted to leave Switzerland and come here is because I felt like I had opportunities here that I would not ever have had in Switzerland.
Hola mis amigos, Brandy Lopez, your host of Latin Fusion TV. We are here at the Alamo Dome in the beautiful city of San Antonio, Texas, as we celebrate and come together with 30 years of La Mafia celebration.
On May 23, 2010, the most successful Latin artist ever produced by the city of Houston came to San Antonio to celebrate an illustrious career spanning 3 decades. Thousands of fans showed up. One of the die-hard fans on hand was Robert Guajardo.
I love his music, and ever since the 30 years in 81, so 80 or 81. So, but I mean, this guy is so good.
Let me ask you real quickly, what is your, how do you feel about having Leonard, his brother, after almost 10 years, getting back on stage with him tonight?
Well, you know, it's very, to me, it seems very uncommon, porque, I mean, they broke apart, I don't know what, 5, 6 years ago, whatever, and him coming back, and his brother, I mean, that's something awesome, that to see that both of them together again.
The opening musical fanfare was a nod to the inspiration for the band's name, La Mafia, and the iconic symbol, the black bolero hat associated with the group's lead singer. The event, La Mafia Music Legacy 30th Anniversary. The lead singer, Oscar de la Rosa, together with keyboardist, accordionist, producer Armando Littenberger Jr. De la Rosa co-founded La Mafia in 1980. The original group was called Los Jóvenes. La Mafia has recorded 35 albums and CDs. Estás Tocando Fuego and Ahora y Siempre each sold over 1 million copies. The group has won 2 Grammys and 2 Latin Grammys. Throughout the 1990s, La Mafia was listed among the top 10 Billboard Latin artists. The 2-hour concert featured many special guests like Frankie J and Cristian Castro, performing La Mafia's signature cumbias and ballads. On hand for the occasion, Latin music legend Lil Joe Hernandez.
Hola mis amigos, Brandy Lopez with Latin Fusion TV. Once again, it's almost about a year since I've been here with Lil Joe y La Familia. One of the reasons that we're here is for La Mafia's 30-year anniversary.
That's correct, yes.
And it's an honor and a great pleasure to have you back on my show. And you know what? I have one of the most important questions to ask you. One of the things is, I was in Temple, Texas, emceeing the Cinco de Mayo. And then I get introduced to this wonderful hot chile. And I think you're responsible for that.
Oh, yeah, it's the Little Joe salsa. And I really appreciate that you like my hot chile. I wish more people would like my hot chile.
When I put that order in, will you personally come and deliver that hot chile?
I can deliver that, honey.
If you missed the once-in-a-lifetime concert, not to worry. The show was recorded and is to be released as a compact disc. La Mafia is also planning a collaboration with Mark Anthony. As a group, La Mafia puts Tejano music on the map internationally. But who actually invented Tejano music?
Que yo soy un borracho, eso dice la gente.
The answer? the legendary Chicano rock band Latin Breed, led by saxophonist Rudy Guerra.
When we started the Latin Breed, my goal, my vision back then was to educate people in music. It seemed like when I would offer some guys to play with us, they wanted to stay on the English field or the black soul field, but they sort of looked down on the Spanish. And my goal was to bring it up to par with everybody else. And we were able to, we were pace setters, and we really were pioneers in that area.
Formed in 1969, the band, known for its horn section, took elements from R&B, jazz, the big band sound, and came up with a new distinctive sound.
It was just all natural. There was, I guess that's one of the things that made us different, was because we were just being ourselves. And one of the things that I remember that a lot of guys that are into theory and music, they couldn't figure out some of the arranging that I would do. And the reason was because if I had a guy on the trumpet that couldn't go so high, you know, I'd keep him in the middle and get the alto on top, and I would switch it around. So this threw the theory thing all over. And then I went by ear. I went what I wanted to hear, and that's what made the group a little outstanding.
Latin Breed is an institution of great musicians who have been very true to their form of music. Rudy Guerra inspired a legend of musicians to bring out the best in them. And when I was there for a small time, it was a privilege and an honor, now that I look back on it, because they inspired me. They inspired me to love this music, and this music has a culture behind it. So now in my older age, now I understand what the whole idea was about.
What we were doing, and again, having fun, we had no idea we were inspiring somebody. We were just having fun, enjoying what we were doing.
Once I heard Latin Breed live, it was like there was no turning back. I was a rock and roller before that. You know, after that, it was being a rock and roller and a Tejano and a Blood, Sweat, and Tears and a Chicago. It's all music. It all has its own definition. So, yeah, Latin Breed was inspired me enough to leave my house back in El Paso, leave my family, and move to San Antonio, and I've never left.
I owe a lot of what I've learned in the past to groups like the Latin Breed, groups like people like Little Joe and Ruben Ramos that I grew up with listening to, and many generations have grown up since and in the past. I mean, they were the trailblazers of the business. You know, they laid the foundation and the groundwork.
What could I bring into play? Like, we're talking about the Latin Breed, so we're doing the solamente una vez, right? Amén la vida. Y cuando ese milagro realiza el prodigio de amarse, hay campanas de fiesta que cantan en el corazón. Then we're doing that. They're doing the, you know, which is kind of an Earth, Wind, and Fire kind of thing. And I thought, wow, this could really work, you know, because that's kind of part of us.
The Latin Breed was recently honored with a tribute at the 30th Annual Tejano Music Awards.
40 years of hits. Wow, that's a long time. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to the Latin Breed. 40 years. Wow, that's amazing.
Latin Breed, congratulations. You've earned it. Well, we've earned it. God bless you.
Nothing in recent memory has galvanized the Latino community like Arizona Senate Bill 1070. The controversial immigration law has sparked protest, aroused emotions, and led educator Dr. Paul Ruiz to take action.
I'm sitting here with Dr. Paul Ruiz, who is bringing us a contest and bringing awareness of the immigration law in Arizona. Dr. Ruiz, thank you very much for joining us on Latin Fusion TV today.
Hey, my pleasure, and thank you.
Dr. Ruiz, one of the big issues, as you know, is the immigration law in Arizona. Now, there are many things that we can do, but you're doing something specifically yourself. What is it you're doing?
So the Sing for Hope and Justice contest is a $10,000 prize concurso. We will give out 4 prizes. The first prize $6,000, second prize $2,000, third prize $1,200, fourth prize $800. We will invite the top 15 songs to present before a live audience, and that night we will select first prize, second prize, third prize, fourth prize, and give the money that night.
Dr. Ruiz and his wife Margaret came up with the Sing for Hope and Justice songwriting contest.
All genres, reggae, corridos, polkas. We have some with the Plácido Domingo neoclassic twist. We have them from Philadelphia, Seattle, from Jalisco, and from Dayton, Ohio.
Dr. Ruiz hopes the winning songs will capture the hopes and dreams of people everywhere.
Give the community an opportunity to speak up because our leaders weren't. Our leaders were hiding. They ran for cover. They were looking at the polls and they said, oh, gee, the polls were against us on this immigration business, so I'm not gonna say anything. Well, when it comes to moral questions, Michael, you don't take a poll.
A major press conference was held at the Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center in San Antonio, Texas, to announce the contest.
I think we've got to definitely thank Dr. Paul Ruiz for putting his whole idea behind generating an interest and more focus on the Arizona law that just got passed. What a better way than to do it with music, you know?
My wife and I, before we make our remarks, want to express our most sincere gratitude to you guys, to the Tejano artists and singers who, not knowing us, just knew the issue, just on the issue, agreed to be with us this morning to communicate to our city, to our neighborhoods, that this issue is important. It cuts deep.
Arizona is wrong, and it's going to be struck down, and we are doing everything we can in the streets, protesting, and with music.
Many local and international artists lent their support to this important cause.
First of all, my brother Hector Saldana brought the song, a new song called 1070, I'm Your Dirty Mexican. And it's kind of a combination of the Twitter comment by Mike Basic, the radio host out of Dallas, who called the San Antonians Dirty Mexicans during the Spurs Mavericks playoff. So we combined the protest of the 1070 bill along with that statement.
This is very, very important that we get the word out to the community and that we, nuestra gente, la raza, wakes up to the seriousness of the law that was passed in Arizona. The fact is that this is going to affect all of us, and I really, really would love to see San Antonio get more involved. Feel the urgency of and the need of what needs to be done. And raza, you have to wake up, you have to act. And remember, to vote, that's one way to fix things, but in this case, we need to protest against this racist law, and we need to do it now.
For more information on the contest and to hear some of the song entries, go to rivercityattractions.com.
Welcome to Latin Fusion TV. It's Brandy time, where I will bring you great resources on our community, our health, but most important, our children. Today I'll be talking to Dr. Roberto Trevinos as he talks to us about staying healthy. The numbers are startling. 26.6 million children and adults in the United States. 7.8% of the population have diabetes. Caring for those with diabetes currently costs over $174 billion. Leading the fight against type 2 diabetes, especially among children, is Dr. Robert P. Trevinos, founder of the Social and Health Research Center. Welcome. Today my special guest is Dr. Roberto Trevinos, the founder of the Social and Health Research Center. Today we'll be talking to him about type 2 diabetes, a deadly disease, not only in the adults, but now in our children. Welcome, Dr. Trevinos.
Thank you, Brandy, for inviting me.
Well, you know, I have a lot of questions that I have to ask. You know, not only because I'm curious, but because I need to be educated, as well as, you know, the children out there. Tell me a little bit about the type 2 diabetes and the deadly disease, the importance, and how serious this disease is.
You know, obviously, we're talking about an adult type of disease, type 2 diabetes, which traditionally has affected only adult populations. But a study we conducted in 1999, we published it in a scientific journal, and we showed for the first time that children as young as 8 years of age were developing this adult disease, type 2 diabetes.
Obesity is the main cause of diabetes among children. And as Dr. Trevino points out, also cause of low self-esteem and poor academic performances in our schools.
You know, obesity is the #1 cause of why we're developing too much, type 2 diabetes. Now, people believe that obesity is just a medical problem, that people are going to develop diabetes, that they're going to develop high blood pressure, that they're going to develop hardening of the arteries. But you know what? Obesity is also a self-esteem problem. It's also a learning problem.
Other contributors to the problem, kids being more sedentary and poor eating habits.
It turns out that there's two foods that we're eating too much, and also physical activity, or the lack of physical activity. The two foods that are really causing a lot of problem with obesity is when we're eating a lot of refined flour. And flour, I mean, the flour, the bread and the pizzas, the bread and the hot dogs, the bread and the hamburgers, the bread and the tortillas, and all too much breads is causing this. The second thing is not a flour, it's a syrup, corn syrup. You will see that corn syrup is in a lot of foods. It's in all our soda waters. It's in a lot of our juices. Children are spending almost like 3 to 4 hours in front of a TV a day. When they should be spending maybe 1 hour in front of the TV a day and playing outside another 2 hours.
Dr. Trevino currently has a 2-pronged curriculum in place of 20 school districts throughout Texas.
These curriculums, what they do is that they're changing the 4 environments that influence the health of children. They're curriculums that are changing the food service, curriculums that are changing their health class, their physical education, and their home.
A survey of children following the curriculum showed amazing results.
We had 2,000 children in the healthy program, 2,000 children that were not in the healthy program. The 2,000 children in the healthy program, they decreased the amount of obesity, they decreased the size of their waist, they decreased their body mass index, which is like a measurement of body fat. And then we were able to decrease insulin levels, which is that protein that goes way up when people develop diabetes. I mean, this was an amazing results.
Dr. Trevino left us with one final message.
Walk 150 minutes a week. The second thing is that, try to eat 5 fruits and vegetables a day. However you want to combine them. You want, 3 fruits and 1 vegetables, or 2 fruits and 3 vegetables. But try to combine a total of 5 fruits and vegetables, and you will protect your children, you will protect your family from ever having diabetes. Or if you have diabetes, you'll be able to control it better.
Once again, I'm Brandy Lopez out here at Nadler's Bakery, where they bring you the best tasting cakes, pastries. I tell you what, you come in here and you're on an empty stomach, you leave here full.
Breads, tarts, puffs, danishes, cookies, eclairs, and ladyfingers. Don't forget the specialty cakes like the strawberry whipped cream and black forest. That's what you'll find at Nadler's Bakery and Deli in San Antonio, Texas. The award-winning, family-owned and operated bakery, a favorite to many San Antonians, has been providing delicious baked goods to generations of families since 1963. Certified master baker and pastry chef Hans B. Nadler is originally from Switzerland.
I'm from Zug, Switzerland, and I came to the United States because I always wanted to come to the United States as a young child, And I had an opportunity to do so, and I grabbed it. One of the reasons I wanted to leave Switzerland and come here is because I felt like I had opportunities here that I would not ever have had in Switzerland. Actually, I wanted to be a chef originally because of my uncle, who was a very well-known chef. And he told me to be a baker first, and which I did. But then I didn't want to go any farther because I liked what I was doing.
He started the business with his wife of 53 years, Minerva Ibarra Nadler, known throughout the community as Min.
After my service, when I was discharged, I went back to New York, and 6 months later came back to get married with Minerva.
Hans and Min are known worldwide for their expertise in the baking industry.
The signature cake came about from one of our trips to conventions and exhibitions where Hans actually saw a cake that he absolutely liked, but with changes. He wanted to do it his way. So he did a strawberry cake developed by him in this certain way that has become a very, very well-known cake, you know, not only here in the city, but throughout the state.
I think that we have established a different bakery, something, we use my skills as a conditor, trained in Switzerland, but baking more American style. So I could kind of side Swiss precision with the American joy of life.
Not only that, but when we travel to Europe and we travel anywhere, we like to visit bakeries. That's our first priority, is to visit the bakeries wherever we're at. And one of the things you notice is they have a certain style. Our cakes are so different from Europeans.
Hans has served as the International Director for the Retail Bakers of America. Min serves as the RBA's official contact with Spanish-speaking countries and organizations. Together, they have made their mark on the international baking community. The Nadlers were recently recognized as the Grassroots Patriots of the Year by the National Restaurant Association. Here's a look at what's coming up next week on Latin Fusion TV.
Just to be included, anything that has to do with La Raza and Tejanos anyway, really.
And I've met with the Disney people who are turning me on to other groups, Demi Lovato, the Jonas Brothers.
I actually have a single that I guess is out, starting to go out to radio now. Latin Fusion TV.